Welcome to another episode of the Rebuild Podcast, a Fins podcast where we talk all things Miami Dolphins football. I'm your co-host, Tyler. Have my partner in crime, Cass, with me today. Cass, how we doing?
Good, doing good, man.
So before we get started, go ahead and follow us on Twitter at the Rebuild the Fins. Again, that's at Rebuild the Fins. Cass, got a lot going on over the last week or so since our last episode. I want to initially start and talk about the opening press conference for Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan and kind of get your initial thoughts on what they said and, kind of how you feel as a fan hearing what kind of their vision looks like for the new wave of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, they said all of the right stuff. Right? They said all the right stuff. They talked about development, building a team through the draft, which was actually really good to hear. Like I don't personally like the strategy of go get big free agents and stuff unless you have everything in place, right?
Right.
But developing, building through the draft. What did we say? Call him Sully, right? That's what he wanted to be
Yeah,
called.
Sully. Yeah, that's the name he wants to be known as. Correct.
If I would take one thing away from this is he seems really appreciative of the job and he seems like he's taking it very serious. So that's good.
Yeah.
I did like that he said that if he fails, it won't be from lack of resources.
Yeah,
So that's also
I think that was a very powerful statement. He's alluding to Stephen Ross, asking him, if you can't get this done, it's not going to be because of resources. So that, I mean,
yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
the one thing, and I'll let sorry to interrupt, I'll let you finish, but I think that's the one thing about Stephen Ross that we can say all what we about him and the way he does things. He does not shy away from putting money to the problem or alerting resources to any way possible to make the team better. I think that is, as a fan base, we can all agree that is a fact that he'll do for sure.
Yeah. I mean, his opening statement, like I said, was fine. It's everything I would expect to hear. There was no surprises. It was a little bit more emotional than I would have thought. I
Yeah,
mean,
I agree. A lot more
yeah,
crying than I
a lot
yeah,
more crying.
yeah.
Like I was like, did
I
you
don't know if
just
that's
win
a
an
bad
Emmy or
thing,
something? Like, what's
showing
going on?
emotion, and we're trying to be a
Yeah,
tough team and stuff. So, but
yeah.
yeah, no, it's a big
So
day for them, obviously.
yeah, big day.
Yeah.
But overall, like I said, it was all right.
What about Hafley? What did you think of him?
I mean,
Do you think he's the leader of men? Do you think he can command a room that we've been desperately needing for the last, decade? Whatever it's been. It's been a long time.
here's my
Um,
issue. What if I told you that we would have as on our coaching staff Flores when coaching the defense and McDaniel coaching the offense? You'd be like, whoa, that's one hell of a coaching staff.
yeah.
So for us to fumble both of those guys and then get this guy with no coaching experience, head coaching
Yeah.
experience in the league, I mean, it's hard to be excited about, in my opinion. That's just kind of where I'm at.
One thing that I found interesting was I saw something on, I think it was Twitter, one of the guys that I follow, talking about how Brian Flores was such a mass extreme, right? Like he was a hard nosed, like tough. He like was not a great person in terms of like helping guys get better and better, like on the extreme, right? And then you had
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel, who is on the opposite extreme, trying to be best friends with the guys, really buddy, very joking around, et cetera, like being on the opposite side of that. And it seemed like Halfway is going to kind of be in that middle point where he's going to be a player's coach, but he's also going to be he's going to hold people accountable. He's going to try to get the best out of his players. I think that was
Yeah.
the one thing that they kind of met that middle. They kind of have both pieces, I would say, in terms of Flores and McDaniel that Halfley has. And again, hopefully
Yeah.
it works. But
That's
I had
that's a
different
fair take.
perspectives of, I guess, the press conference in just in general. But go on. Anything else that you saw?
No. The last thing I was gonna say was I don't know how many times I heard this is what we did in Green Bay, and I was like, hey,
Yeah.
it's time to move on. Stop talking about your ex girlfriend.
Yeah, right. No,
Yeah,
I agree with that for sure.
yeah,
I would say, okay, Stephen Ross started out, which, of course, shocker, he didn't answer any questions, which
yeah,
probably was a good idea. The guy was, I'm sure all Dolphin fans initially saw that. He didn't even know John Eric Sullivan's name. He literally had to look down at the piece of paper at the end trying to introduce him. He was just not there mentally.
Yeah.
which fine. He can do what he wants. He's the owner of the team. The overall experience of the actual interview, the press conference, I watched it via live YouTube, was awful. The microphone was going in and out. I don't know how you saw it. I imagine the same way.
Yeah.
Microphone was going in and out. You couldn't understand them half the time. Like, it was just an overall bad look, in my opinion, being this is a big day for the organization. Got, both general manager, head coach being introduced. It was just initial awful experience. Like, that was one. Going to John Eric Sullivan, the one thing that I love that he had to say was they're going to be drafting a quarterback every year or every other year. He's throwing darts at the dartboard, trying to stick and get guys that can, one, compete for the job, but also if you have multiple guys in place, you have now trade assets, which is something that he talked about and something that they did in Green Bay. Obviously, he was part of the Aaron Rodgers drafting. He was part of the Jordan Love drafting. So he had success of getting these guys, with Brett Favre was in that initial. They got Aaron, obviously, and then they got Jordan Love. So hopefully he's the right man in terms of understanding what it takes to kind of look at what the quarterback position and what we need. So I'm hoping that is something that he'll be able to bring to this organization. And again, if he has to draft a quarterback every single year, one of them is bound to hit. One of them has to hit at this point. You know what I mean? And again, it does not have to be a top overall pick. It doesn't have to be a top 3 pick. Jordan Love was a late first round pick. Aaron Rodgers was a late first round pick. So it's not about where you draft. It's about evaluating the talent and understanding those qualities that you're looking for in quarterback and other positions that, we're going to be doing. I would say that John Eric Sullivan, as you mentioned, I think he seemed very grateful, very passionate about this role. He's definitely going to come in here. I think he was a slam dunk hire personally. I think he brings confidence. I think he has a plan. He's going to surround himself with the right people, which he has started to do. He brought over the assistant general manager from the Atlanta Falcons. So he's surrounded himself with a lot of good pieces. I think he's the right man for the job. Regarding Hafley, again, I was more impressed with him talking than I was initially, finding out that he was our guy. I definitely think he can command a room. I think he has presence. I think he's going to be a teacher. I think he's going to players are going to get better every year. When, the rookies come in, the second year guys, everyone's going to take a leap with this guy on there. My only concern is the offensive side, right? What is he going to do? How is he going to handle, he obviously just hired offensive coordinator, which we'll talk about later, but how is he going to look on the offensive side? How is he going to look in those timeout situations? How is he going to look in those challenge situations? How is he just going to navigate being a first-time NFL head coach? Again, that's going to be a wait and see. But again, like you mentioned, I think overall, there wasn't much there in terms of specifics that we, were looking for. But I think overall they did a good job kind of owning the interview, and we're going to wait and see how this next year goes.
Yeah, I feel better about Sully than I do Hafley, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Sully did mention using the draft and not being worried about where you find these guys and his confidence in finding them. So that's good. At least, hey, if we can't be excited about the season, at least we'll be excited about the draft, right? So.
Yeah, I definitely found it interesting that, he talked about it multiple times. Yeah, this is going to be a draft heavy organization, something that we have not done in many years. We always went for the splash free agency, big trades, cut corners. That's not what this team is anymore. It's not Miami. I mean, it's not. This is not what Miami's known. In the NBA, they make big moves. Like, they're just, all these teams make big moves, and just Florida, it's, Miami itself. Yeah. So this is not what the Dolphins are going to be. They're going to be draft, develop, retain, draft, it's going to be a consistent cycle. And then they're going to sprinkle in, hopefully, the free agency moves. And he used the keyword impact players, guys that are impact players through free agency. So again, we're going to see they have obviously a lot of work to do in terms of the cap situation that we'll get into here shortly. But this next year is going to be probably tough. But kind of leading into the cap situation, a lot of ideas have been floating around regarding Tua. We all are both aware that he is owed a lot of money, a dead cap of about $99 million. I guess my question to you is, do you believe or do you think that they should take that 99 million and break it up over the next 2 years? I believe it's like 54 million or 53 million first year and then the rest for that second year.
Yeah.
Or do you
So,
think that they should just take one hit, call it a day, and
I'll turn the hat around for this one.
okay.
And he's out of here.
Well, yeah, we know he's out of here.
Out of here.
Yeah, I think
Tomorrow, if I had my take your money, have a good day.
so you want the 99 million all this whole offseason, call it a day,
Get it out of here.
and move on.
Get it out of here.
So you know what that means, though, right? So if that's the route, then that means that they are going to lean extremely heavy on this year's draft class, all those guys, the New Year's draft class, this upcoming draft class, and it's going to be rookies on rookies on rookies, pretty much. There's not going to be any more room to do anything else.
We're gonna be bad for a minimum 3 years. We're gonna be bad for a minimum 3 years. But yeah, you get two out of there. The old regiment's gone, and you just start fresh. You start rebuilding the culture. Because I mean, what benefit is it to have two of there?
So that route means most likely that Quinn Ewers is on the roster. He's going to be on the roster, but he's going to be a chance to start, and they probably bring in like a Mac Jones or someone low level. Yeah. Maybe not even Mac. Maybe we're talking like Marcus Mariota. We're talking Joe Flacco. We're talking those guys, right?
Yeah.
And they're competing for a job, and it is going to be one of those 2-3 good seasons.
With the alternative, okay. So then you keep Tua. Who would you want to bring in? I know.
No. In this route, they're not keeping Tua. They're cutting Tua, but are they taking his money and they spreading it over the next 2 years so that way they have a little more flexibility this season?
Okay.
But then it's also going to bleed into the following season.
So what are you going to do with the flexibility this season?
Well, again, I think that if they break up, I would say this. Mm-hmm. Their plans for 26 is going to be known based off what they do with Tua. If they decide to take the 99 million and just take it this year, that tells me that they're completely fine winning 2 to 3 games, which is probably going to happen anyway. But they're fine just wiping the hands, moving on, and then in 27 you're prime with a top 5 pick, tons of cap space, and you're off and running with another year of draft. Mm-hmm. That's what. Again, I agree. I think that they should do that, right? Yeah. I know I've been all about the Malik Willis train, and
that's what I'm saying. So
if they do that year one, Malik, there is no quarterback coming in here. It's going to be Quinn Ewers, most likely will be our starting quarterback.
So, and I'm fine with that because, like, what's the alternative? What I'm getting at. So you spread it out to 2 years, whatever, right? So what do you do with that money? Do you bring in a different quarterback? Do you go try to get Anthony Richardson? Do you try to get your boy? And I'm just like. Why? Like we're gonna lose games anyways.
I guess it would be that. Do you believe that the draft class this year, the guys that had, I just saw a report on PFP had the rookies for the Miami Dolphins had the worst grade of every team in the league. It wasn't even close. So you're saying that those guys and this new draft class and this upcoming draft class, you sprinkle in a Malik Willis and Anthony whoever. You have a new coaching staff who gets the best out of his players, hopefully. Do you believe that is somewhere where they're – again, are they going to win the division? No. But can they be competitive? Can they make a wild card? Can they do those things to just kind of build off? Because my thing is are you as a Jeff Hafley, Sully, who are first-time head coach, GM, going to come in here and just completely tank, quote-unquote tank, and win 2 games? Is that what you want to do to start off your regime as getting this thing going? I don't see that. Like they're not going to come in here and try to lose games. I mean, they're not.
I mean, Flores would probably tell you something different.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
But, hey, I will say this. I will say, regardless of what they do, as to here's all your money 1 year, spread out for 2. They're going to be bad anyways. So it doesn't really matter. You might as well, for sure next year's a guarantee. But in 2 years, it's not really a guarantee that we're going to be bad. It's probable, it's not guaranteed. So why not have that flexibility in 2 years versus just I
agree personally.
To me, the alternative just doesn't make sense. So just pay them, do what you do, build your culture. Yep. Yeah. I mean, heck, you done fired the GM, you done fired the coach, you done fired the QB, You
Yeah.
might as well fire the ping pong table that they removed
The
earlier in the
only thing that
season.
I would say is I agree. I mean, again, I agree. I think
Like, do
just
you agree with me about the ping pong table?
I
Fire
agree.
that
Well,
too? Okay.
I do agree with that.
Okay.
I would agree that yes, they need to move Tua, pay the money, call it a day.
Yeah.
However, you got to remember, and again, I don't think Miami Dolphin fans, for the most part, understand this. Every single damn player on our roster, I don't care if it's Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, Sealer, Quinn Ewers, these are not our new regime's people. They do have no ties to these guys. Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer got Quinn Ewers, Devon Achane. None of these guys are safe, is my point, right?
Yeah.
None of them, because these are not their people. Yeah, of course, they're going to probably keep some of those guys. Jordan Brooks of the world, who again came in, was not drafted. It was brought in the offseason, brought in, I believe, in free agency or trade, whatever it was. So my point is do they try to move Tua over the next 2 years, bring in some of their people, some of the people that instill their culture, instill their philosophies, and do they try to be competitive in 26?
No, because no matter what, even if they try, they're not going to be competitive. So it's a fire sale.
So you don't believe? Okay, we just saw what happened in the AFC and NFC championship game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was left for dead by multiple franchises, the Jets, and he won 14 games with the Minnesota Vikings, and they said, "Oh, we're good. We're going to go with McCarthy." Right. Yeah. So my point is there a way where that formula, right? Who McDonald, the head coach of the Seahawks, has a background with this regime, coming from the pack, the defensive whatever, right?
Yeah.
So is there a Sam Darnold type player? And again, I know the Dolphins are not a quarterback away. I get that. Yeah. But
listen,
is there a way where you get some defensive pieces, you start building the trenches? This thing could turn quickly is my point.
I know where you're going. You're not going to like my answer. You're going to highly disagree with it. But
what's the answer? Sorry.
I still want my guy, Justin Fields, in a Dolphin uniform.
Hey, by the way, he just got a Pro Bowl. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
I want to see my guy in a Dolphins uniform. There you go. You want to run it? You want a mobile quarterback? There you go.
He's not mobile.
Justin Fields?
Oh, you're talking about Fields. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Shedeur Sanders.
I mean, hey, I want Shedeur.
I know you want Shedeur. Okay,
you're not going to
Fields. I mean, Fields.
So if you're asking me, the question was that discarded quarterback, Justin Fields. Anthony Richardson too. I mean, I guess.
I would love Anthony Richardson. I've been all about that train.
Yeah.
That's a third. Well, I would say a third day pick probably. I don't know. What will the Colts want for him?
It's hard because if Daniel Jones didn't tear his Achilles, I would say,
dude,
you would probably get
Anthony Richardson is a low key nice pick. What would be let him compete with Quinn? If Malik Willis is out of the picture, I think that is something that they got to at least consider. What is it going to cost you? A 4th round pick, 5th round pick?
Yeah. I mean, how old is he? 23.
Yeah. I don't know what I would say. That are the Colts ready to move off? Will like a 4th round pick get him? I don't know.
If Daniel Jones didn't blow his Achilles, I would say they would probably be ready to do it. But with that, I don't know. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of interesting decisions, and like we keep talking about, the move on Tua is going to be the determination of what this next season is going to be. If they take it all this year, we know that it's going to be a wrap. It's going to be a wrap regardless, but you can see their intentions. Do they want to try to win, or do they just say, you know what, we're going to just move on to 27. It's all about the 27 draft class, and it's fine. I mean, just be honest. Just don't.
Yeah, I agree. Just be honest. And honestly, if I'm GM. If I'm putting my GM hat on, I'm paying Tua all of his money.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. One of the worst mistakes in our franchise.
The other thing too, would you in that case, would you trade Jalen Waddle if they went?
Yep, Waddle's got to go, and so is Achane. And basically, anyone I could get a value that's been in the league more than 3 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And listen, I love Waddle. He's my favorite player on the team.
He's your favorite player.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wearing his jersey right now.
Yeah.
But for him, we're not going to be good. By the time we get good again, he's probably going to be past his prime,
Yeah.
and I would just rather see him
He
have
just can't stay on the
success.
field. That's the thing.
Yeah,
You know,
he can't.
he's so
So
good when
I
when
would
he's
let
on the
him
field.
and Achan too, just because I mean Achan's what his second year, right? So
This
he's
is third, I think.
third. Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, you sure? I thought it
But
was
remember, well, let me look. Hold on.
yeah, yeah,
But remember, HN is not their guy.
yeah.
he was
Which is
made for.
crazy.
He was made for. Yeah, so he was drafted in 23. So yeah, this is
23.
his third. This is his
Well,
third
coming
season.
up, he's only had
Coming
two
up.
years,
Yeah,
so this
coming
will be
up.
his
Yeah.
third. Yeah. So I mean, he fits the young rebuild, but yeah, you're right. I don't know how well. I feel like
Yeah. No, this will be his upcoming fourth season. Yeah.
fourth. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So, and this is not a because Achan, I feel like he's talented, super fast, but
Yeah, I think he.
I think he had a lot of success based on
Yeah.
McDaniel, to be honest with you. So it'll be interesting to
Again,
see
I think. Yeah, I
him.
agree. He's just one of those guys. I think is a plug and play, no matter what the scheme and system is. But
Yeah,
again, I think some of his numbers were inflated because McDaniel got all
yeah,
those little 1 yard passes, the
yeah,
screen, like that. You know,
exactly.
but he's a good player. But if someone wants
Yeah.
to offer a nice draft pick for him, see ya, buddy. I'm sorry. Move on.
Yeah, yeah. I would move on from him and Waddle, and then. But what are our draft needs now? And we don't have to go down
Yeah,
like specific
that's a good
players.
good segue there.
Yeah.
So as we all know, the Dolphins have the 11th overall pick this year. What do you want? What are you thinking draft wise? You know, it doesn't need to be specific players, but you know,
Yeah.
maybe positions that you think.
This ties into what you kind of said earlier about like, is there a forgotten quarterback that we could plug in? You talk about Sam Darnold from the Vikings, had
Right, right.
success. Seahawks now is going to Super Bowl. The one thing that both of those teams have that the Dolphins don't is a good defense, solid
Yep.
defense. So I would start with drafting a corner or safety. I think that's probably our biggest need.
Yeah, I would say we obviously know the Packers' history. I think this past year was the first year that they took like an offensive player in the last
Yeah.
whatever it's been, right? So it's 1000% going to be, to me, what they're going to do is going to probably be a trench player, whether that's the
Yeah.
offensive defensive line, probably most likely the defensive line.
Yeah.
But the one thing that Sully did say, I don't know if it was in his press conference, the other day, or if it was the one with Travis Winfield of the Dolphins media team. He talked about not drafting players by need, drafting best available, because
Yeah.
you don't ever know when you're going to need that specific.
Yeah. That's a good strategy.
So you know what I mean, like. Maybe our needs are definitely in this in the DB realm. And off. I mean, we have needs everywhere, of course, but
Yeah.
I think that they're going to go best available defensive player. The guy that I want the most is Caleb Downs, who's a safety, but he's versatile. He can move in so many different areas. Again, whether it's D line, safety, O line, if they feel like there's someone there, I'm totally good with that. There's so many
Yeah.
holes on this roster, but the one thing that they both talked about, Hafley and Sully, is just building the trenches, winning through the offensive and defensive line. So I would imagine that that's probably where they're going to start. But remember, they have a lot of picks in the top 90. I think it's 5, depending on what Anthony Weaver does with the head coaching job. They might get more. So it's most likely going to be a big, big defensive early on, I would imagine. Maybe they get a quarterback in one of the later, third rounds, whatever it is, but yeah, I would imagine the trenches is the way to go.
Explain the Weaver thing, how that impacts us.
Yeah, so Anthony Weaver is up for he got interviewed by the Buffalo Bills. They obviously, went he's interviewed for the Bills. He's interviewed for the Cardinals. I think he's had his second interview with the Cardinals. He might still be in with the Raiders. But basically, because Anthony Weaver was a defensive coordinator with the Dolphins, if he gets a head coaching job, the Dolphins, I believe, 2 third-round picks if he got a head coaching job. The one thing that is interesting is the Dolphins have since hired an offensive coordinator, which we'll talk about. They hired a special teams coordinator, but they have not announced yet the defensive coordinator, because if they did that before Anthony Weaver potentially got a job, then those draft picks will not happen, regardless of what happened to Anthony Weaver.
Yeah.
So I think they're waiting and hoping that I think Weaver was in the play for the Steelers job, which went to Mike McCarthy. So the Cardinals are still open. I don't know if he's in the Raiders, but the Cardinals for sure. He had another interview, I think, today. So there's still hope. We'll see. But regardless, they have 5 picks in the top 90 as it stands. And I would imagine, like I said, it's going to be a heavy defensive side to start for this new team.
Okay.
So Regarding the any other draft things, what do you want them to take a quarterback at some point? Like Ty Simpson. Well, yeah, I don't even know if he's going to be there.
Yeah, I don't know. This quarterback draft class, no one really speaks like, oh, you got to draft the number one. So, I mean, dart throw.
Just pick. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They got to take one, I would
I kind of
imagine.
like the best available
Yeah,
strategy, and then
yeah.
go from there.
What would you say for the draft class? Like, because again, either way, these guys are gonna get a lot of snaps. They're gonna be on the field early. Like they're
Yeah,
gonna be relying on these guys. I guess like, what's the hope here, right? Just each game better. I mean, do you get lucky and hit on a superstar like right away? You know what I mean? Like that's
I
the hope,
think.
obviously.
Yeah, I mean that's the hope. There's not much hope for the next few years, but the hope is you got to get a superstar quarterback, and if you can get a solid piece at quarterback, and that's like a superstar level, then that's when your team kind of starts going the other direction. So until we get that, I don't think we're going to go in another direction, and I think that's what we missed with Tua. We had Tua. He never was that superstar that he was projected to be, and that's why we never really took that leap.
Are you going to any games this upcoming year or what?
I'll go to the Bears
Will you
game.
spend
That's
money
because of
on
the
this team
family.
for the next year or what?
Huh?
Are you going to spend any money on this team or what?
No, the Bears game. So I'll go to the Bears game just because of the family. That's it.
Just so the
Yeah.
viewers know, our
Yeah.
wives are from Chicago. I'm from Chicago,
Yeah.
so the wives are Bear fans, and yeah, I think we'll probably be going to that game together. I would imagine, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds about right. Listen,
Yeah.
it all depends on Anthony. If he buys the booth, whatever
He
he
buys
wants
the
me to wear.
suite. We're
If
we're
he
going.
wants me to wear, a Caleb Williams jersey,
Yeah,
I'll wear a
right,
jersey.
right.
If he buys the booth.
I'll rock the
Yeah,
jersey
yeah,
for the day. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. But
So we'll kind of wrap up here, but Dolphins. I want to talk about the OC hire. I think the other day. What was your initial thought on that hire being from the staff already, from the Mike McDaniel staff? What do you think that means?
Man, listen. To be honest, I all the stuff that's happening with the coaches, like in the coaches and the GM and stuff, like it's nice for it to happen. I just know it's like dark days ahead of us. So I don't even think this current coaching staff that we have. I don't even know if they're going to be the coaching staff we'll have when we get good. I think
Yeah,
these
yeah,
people kind of feel like how like teams, any professional team does, any sport.
yeah. It's like a
They're-
bridge. They're like
yeah,
bridging
it's
them.
like a bridge. They have
Yeah.
that coaching staff that builds the culture and gets you good, and then they can never take that step.
Yep.
This is what it kind of feels like. So
Yeah.
to me, it's just hard to get excited about any of these guys we bring in unless I know or feel confident, like, oh, I know what your body of work is. I feel confident that you could be here long term.
Yeah. Yeah, just so the fans know, so Dolphins promoted Bobby Slowick to the offensive coordinator. I believe he was the passing game coordinator last season for Mike McDaniel. He was the offensive coordinator for the Texans back when CJ Stroud rookie year, went off. So, and then the following year he sucked. So I don't really know what this means. I think what this tells me is that there's going to be some transition from the McDaniel offense to this new offense. Obviously, he's familiar with all those things. I think this is where Devon Achane does actually come into play. I think they'll be able to utilize him a little better than maybe if they brought in someone on the outside. But yeah, who knows? He had one good year with the Texans. Was that the reason? I don't know. We're not going to have much weaponry on the offense anyway. I think what I would like to know is, depending on who we have at quarterback, whether that's Quinn Ewers, which again, that could help the Quinn Ewer transition. He's familiar with some of the guys on the offensive staff. He was the passing game coordinator, so that will go right up his alley. But if we did get a new quarterback, whether it's Anthony Richardson or Malik Willis, how will Bobby use the quarterback's legs? It's something we have not had for many years. It's something that is so prevalent to the new National Football League. You have to be able to move and create off-script throws and off-script plays. To me, that's the only way you win football. You have to have that, or you're not going to win unless you are just dominant in the defensive side, which the teams that are in the Super Bowl, like Drake May hasn't played well, but he iced the game on the final play there to win on his legs. Like, you need a quarterback to do that. So how does Bobby kind of incorporate that into the new offense that we have, this upcoming year?
Yeah.
So It's doomsday though for the Dolphins, I would say, for the next year. But we're hopeful that I would say that we can agree that the NFL is proven that things can turn around quickly. But this is not one of a worst to first type team. Like we're not we're not at that level.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but anything else? Is there anything else you want to discuss, or you think we're good today?
I think we're good. That's all I had.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys joining the episode of the Rebuild podcast. And yeah, like I said, go ahead and like us on Twitter at Rebuild the Fins, and we appreciate it. And we'll be back on the air in the coming days. We appreciate it. See you guys. How do I stop this thing? There you go.